So what is good about this show? There's a lot that's good. I'll say that. Um, First, I'd say the initial pacing of the show is so much better. At least just the pilot. At the very least, the pilot. It's better than the US version. Disclaimer, I have not actually watched the US version. Probably just the first few episodes, but I can't remember. That was years ago. So anyway, in 60 days, let's just call it 60 days. Within the first 5 minutes, maybe, you meet Park Moo-jin and his family. You find out about who he is as a person and his background. Like, you see him wearing a Kai's sweatshirt. So you know that he's a science guy. Okay, easy. And then you see the National Assembly get bombed. Within the first 5 minutes, everything, well, not everything, but a lot of it is established already. And I was so amazed. Like, I thought we were going to go straight into, him being ushered into the Blue House and, saying his vows to be president or something. But okay, they didn't go there. They went for a flashback. I was a little disappointed that it would get, much slower after that. But I actually like the flashback here. Because unlike the US version, they spent the entire first episode in the US version setting things up, and then at the end of it, the National Assembly gets bombed, and his counterpart in the US version is like watching it on TV or something. And so, like, it's a more linear way of telling the story, which of course makes sense. But here's the annoying thing. It's like, we know the premise of this show. Even in the US version, of course, they had to put out a synopsis of the show before releasing it, right? So we know that the assembly's gonna get bombed, or the Capitol is gonna get bombed, right? It's gonna get bombed, and then this guy is gonna step up. So let's just show the thing getting bombed immediately. I really like how the Korean version did it. Like, we're not gonna take, the entire episode to show what's going on and then get it bombed. Like, no, it's bombed. But let's go back and figure out why this is such a big deal. So, I have to bring this up. Sorry, I was about to not bring it up, but... So, does anyone remember Sisyphus the myth? I don't want to, but I barely watched it, so I'm surprised I even remembered anything. Okay, so Sisyphus spent how many episodes establishing that this is a time loop show? Before, or at least for Han Tae-sul, like before he realized that this is a time loop show. Because, like, we know it. It's in the premise. And we also see Sohei coming from the future and then going back to the past. So we know it. But Han Tae-sul takes so long, like being dragged around by Sohei and the plot and all that. It's kind of annoying at some point. Because it's like, dude, we've known since episode 1. When are you going to figure out and then start having some actual agency in this show? Start actually doing something about the situation. You're just impacted by it, but you're not like an active agent in it because you don't understand what's going on. That's why it takes so long to not establish his character, but establish what he's actually going to be able to do for their own survival and all that. So yeah, it's really annoying when the show takes so long setting itself up, and Designated Survivor does not fall for that. It just sets it up right there. And then it goes back. And I like how it goes back because the flashback part just shows you how ridiculous it is that he ended up becoming acting president because he coincidentally got fired that same day. It's ridiculous, but he has to deal with it because that's how things turned out. So I like how they initially established it, and then they went back and showed you that this is not something he wanted at all. And then they established a lot of great characters, in that flashback. So yeah, I really like how they set up the first episode. And in general, the whole pacing of the show, I love it so much. It's the type of show with episodic arcs. Like,